Hello everyone. Today's video is a video response video. It is an answer to a question that I get asked on one of my most popular videos. And that video is how to connect two routers together and share the internet. And I'll put a card up for that video up here in the corner of the screen so you can watch that if you haven't seen it yet. But it has over 1.4, 1.5 million views on it at this point. And in the comments section below that video, I get this question asked over and over and over again. And that question is, can I use the same SSID on both routers without a problem? And this video is an answer to that, because the answer to that is yes and no. So I'll show you when it's an optimal situation to use the same SSID on both routers and why. And I'll show you when it's not an optimal situation to use both SSIDs on both routers and why. Before I explain when it's a good idea to have two similar SSIDs or two exactly the same SSIDs in the same network as opposed to not, you need to understand a few things about the way Wi-Fi works and the nature of Wi-Fi clients and routers. So in my case, a Wi-Fi router would be a tablet, laptop, a phone, or a computer. That's generally what they are. You could be a camera too, anything with a Wi-Fi interface in it. But Wi-Fi clients like tablets, laptops, phones, computers, etc., they control the connection to the router. In other words, they knock on the door and they say, hey, I'm here. You know, I have a key to get in, and the router is basically, like the security guard. It says, yeah, you've got the pass, get in, you're fine, right? Or, hey, you don't have the network password, so you can't get in. That's it. But the client is the one that is always looking for that connection. So, Wi-Fi clients will connect automatically to the first router or access point that responds and says, yeah, come on in, okay? So that's important to know that, because it's the client side that is controlling the connection. All the router is doing is this yes or no, right? So they'll not necessarily connect to the closest router or app with the strongest signal, and an app is an access point. They don't test for signal strength. They test for host availability. So basically they say, oh, there's a door. I'm going to knock on that one. Oh, here's my pass. Boom, they're in, right? It doesn't matter. Whoever answers the door first, that's the one that goes in. Then they are programmed to assume that there is only one door or one router or app on the network with that SSID. They don't go looking for another one. Once they find the door, they knock on it and they're in. That's it. They don't search for an alternative connection once they're connected. They say, hey, I'm in. I'm done, right? So basically what you have is you'll have let's say a tablet in the center of this circle. It'll be connected to the kitchen router with the SSID of Sparky, and it'll be happy. It says, hey, I'm in. I'm done. I don't need to go looking for anything else. I'm connected, okay? They only search for an alternative connection, right, when they come, when they run to the edge of the circle of Wi-Fi connectivity or Wi-Fi range. At that point, the signal gets really weak. It starts going, the data becomes unreliable, and at a certain point, you cross into this gray zone where it either connects you or not, right? Because the signal's so weak that it can't establish a reliable connection. And once it gets past that into this circle, then outside of that circle, the gray, it's disconnected. It says, hey, I can't connect anymore. I need to go looking for another Sparky, or I need to find Sparky, or I need to wait till Sparky's available before I can get in. So at this point, it would be disconnected, okay? But again, the client is in control, right? Like I said, they only search for an alternative connection when they're not connected to the router or app currently. So when they're in this circle here, they're not looking for anything. They're happy, right? So I know this is important to know, because if you don't know this, you won't understand why you can't have two same SSIDs in the same network in one instance, and you can have them in another instance. So I'm going to show you both of those in a second. So again, they're programmed to hold on to a working connection for as long as possible, regardless of signal strength, to ensure that they can send and receive data reliably. Connectivity in networking is everything. You want a reliable network. You don't want, it's nice to have a fast network, but you want a reliable one. And you'll take a slow one over, a slow reliable one over a fast unreliable one. And you know that with phones, right? So basically those are the rules for the clients, and what you need to know about how clients act inside a Wi-Fi network. So next, I'm going to show you when it's a good idea to have the same SSID on two routers and when it's not such a great idea to do so. Okay, here's the network scenario where having the same two SSIDs on two routers in the same zone like this house is okay, where you're not going to have any problems at all with them. Now, if you know anything about Wi-Fi signals and radio signals, you know that this is a absolutely perfect representation of how they're supposed to work. Now, these zones are generally not like this. They're generally, they look like a cloud or a blob. They don't have a circular shape to them. They have a different kind of shape to them altogether. But they're shaped by their environment somewhat. So basically, at this point, what I'm showing you here is two perfect examples. And what we have here is the office router with Sparky as the SSID and the kitchen router with Sparky as the SSID. Exactly the same, right? So if we put a tablet over here, let's do some editing here. All right. If we have a tablet over here connected, it's happy. If we walk that tablet in this direction, we know what's going to happen. The signal's going to get weaker. It's going to get slower. And eventually it'll hit this gray zone where it'll either connect or not connect. And then when you're walking, you get to here, it'll go boom, I'm off. And once it's off, that's it. It says, hey, I can't find Sparky anymore. What do I do? Now, the nice thing about this is that if you keep walking in this direction, you hit this network. And then at this point, check mark. You get connected again to, that tablet gets connected again to Sparky, this router, right? But the reason that happened is because of this zone here of no connectivity. Because when the tablet goes from this gray area to this white area where there's no signal at all, it disconnects. And then it says, hey, great, well, start looking for Sparky again. And when you keep walking here, you hit another router that has Sparky as the SSID, and it connects automatically to it. So you can see where this is perfect, and this would work in either way. So if you connected that same tablet here, started walking in this direction, you hit here, and it's like, boom, it disconnects here, right? And it starts looking for Sparky again. It says, hey, where'd Sparky go? You keep walking, and you walk into this zone, and then boom, check mark again. It connects again and says, hey, I'm happy here. I've got a signal. I can stay connected. But the reason that works is because of this zone of no connection here that disconnects the router, the tablet from the other router. So it's very seamless. It happens every time. When you walk from one zone to the other, it changes. So there's no conflict. There's no problem here with this scenario. On the next scenario I'm going to show you, I'll show you where you can still have two SSIDs that are the same, but it's going to be problematic. It's going to give you some problems some of the time, not all of the time, but some of the time. So I'll show you the next one next. So here's scenario number 2. We have a living area with two routers again, both with the same SSID, Sparky and Sparky. So we got Sparky in the office, Sparky in the kitchen, and they both give coverage to this whole area, but there's an overlap between the two of them. So the Wi-Fi signal from the office router is covering this area, and the Wi-Fi signal from the kitchen router is covering this area, and we have this overlap area in the center. Now this is very typical in these kinds of situations. You're going to have overlap most of the time, unless the house is large, in which case you'll have a dead zone between the two of them, which you probably don't want either, but that's another scenario. So we're just covering this one right here where we have two routers overlapping. So we have a tablet over here connected in the living room. No problem. It connects. It says, hey, I'm connected to Sparky, right? Because it's in the kitchen coverage area, and it's going to connect to it. No problem. We're connected. We got a good signal. We go. Now we take this tablet. We start walking. We cross into this overlap zone, right? Which, the overlap zone doesn't matter at all, because once this tablet connects to the kitchen router, it wants to stay connected to that kitchen router until it loses signal from that kitchen router. It doesn't care that it's got a stronger signal from the Sparky in the office in this area. It doesn't matter. Once connected to the kitchen, it stays connected to the kitchen until it crosses the boundary layer right here. And at that point, it knocks off and says, I'm disconnected from the kitchen. But it will instantly start looking for another, or it'll quickly start looking for a connection or trying to reestablish that connection. And that will happen because it will find this connection, Sparky, and connect to it. No problem. And at that point, it'll be connected to Sparky again. So Sparky, it's connected to Sparky here in the kitchen, and it's connected to Sparky here in the office. And the same scenario works out the same way in the other direction. Once it crosses here, it drops this connection and then connects to the kitchen down here. No problem at all, right? Makes sense. Everybody says, hey, that's cool. That's the way I want it to work, right? Okay. And that's the way it will work. But here's the problem. And I'll tell you what the problem is here with this scenario. So let's just start this again here. All right. So let's say you're sitting in the living room right here, right at this point right here. Okay? And your tablet connects and it says connected. And it will say connected to what? Sparky. That's all there is. There's only Sparky to connect to. So at this point when you're sitting in the living room, which Sparky are you connected to? Well, optimally you'll be connected to the kitchen one because that's the one that gives you the better signal because you're closer to it, right? But you're still close enough to the Sparky in the office to get a signal from it. So again, as we know, and as I stated at the first of this video, the client doesn't look for signal strength. All it looks for is who's going to answer my call to connect first. So in this scenario, you don't know. Am I connected to this Sparky or am I connected to this Sparky? You don't know because the client will tell you every time connected to Sparky. Now, if you're connected to the office Sparky, here you're going to be running slow. You're not going to be getting great speeds, and it may be spotty as you cross in and out of that zone, or the signal varies in strength as it will do. So at this point, if you're connected to Sparky in the office, you're going to have not great service, and if you're connected in the kitchen, you'll be fine, right? But you're not going to know which one you're connected to. That's the problem with this scenario. Okay, and it's the same over here. If I take that tablet and I connect over here, right? Well, there's a chance that I'll connect to the office, and there's a chance I'll connect to the kitchen. But either way, it will tell me the same thing: connected to Sparky, right? And you won't know which one. So let's change this up, and the way I recommend this kind of situation to be handled, and the reason why, I'll show you it right here. Okay, so we're back, and what we're going to do here is what I recommend, is that change the SSID of one of the routers to something different, right? So in this case, I called the Sparky in the office as Sparky 3, okay? And this one remains the same. So now we've got two different routers with overlap, two different SSIDs with overlap in the center. Here's the diff, right? The difference is this, and again, this works exactly the same way as far as connectivity goes. So I connect to the tablet, I turn my tablet on, I connect here in the living room, and it goes to the kitchen, and it says, hey, you're connected to Sparky. Wonderful. So I start walking with this tablet over here. I go into the overlap area. Doesn't matter because I'm still in the pink area. It's going to stay connected to that pink router or to SSID Sparky, this router, the kitchen router. Once I cross over here, boom, it'll cut off, right? Because there's no more signal from this kitchen router anymore, and it'll say, hey, I can't connect you to that anymore. It's gone. But then if you've configured your client, this tablet to connect to Sparky 3, as soon as you cross into Sparky 3 zone and it drops off Sparky's connection, it will connect to Sparky 3. And guess what? When it connects to Sparky 3, it will tell you it connected to Sparky 3. It will say, hey, connected to Sparky 3. Boom, and you'll know. So that's the difference. With this scenario, when you switch from one to the other, it will tell you and you will know which router you're actually connected to. Okay? So same thing in the other direction. Once you cross here, it will drop Sparky 3 and connect to Sparky and tell you, hey, you're connected to Sparky. Beautiful. And so, that's the reason I like it because, in either scenario, if I'm sitting here, I can look at my connection manager and say, which one am I connected to? I'm connected to Sparky, so I'm connecting to the kitchen. Or if I'm sitting over here, right, it'll tell me, which one am I connected to? Well, it'll say connected to Sparky 3 because it's the only one available. My connection manager will do that, okay? So again, it's information. It's telling me something right off the bat. It tells me which one I'm connected to. Now, let's go one step further here into that crossover area, which is where it's most important. The other areas, it just happens automatically anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? But when you're sitting here, say you're right here, right in this zone right here, right? And you're connected. Well, which zone are you connected to? Well, you could be connected to Sparky, or you could be connected to Sparky 3 over here, right? So the nice thing is if you're sitting here and you connect your client, your tablet, let's say, it will tell you which one you're connected to as soon as you connect. They'll say, oh, connected to Sparky 3. Well, if you're sitting here and you're connected to Sparky 3, at least you're going to know. It's like, that one's pretty far away and this one's closer, right? I'm going to disconnect from that one and choose to connect to Sparky here in the kitchen. And that's another bonus about having the two different router SSIDs. You can choose which one you want. When they're both named the same thing, you can't choose it. There's only one listing in your connection manager, and that one listing will be Sparky. Here, in this scenario, you're going to have two listings in your connection manager. One is Sparky, and one is Sparky 3. And you can choose either one. And when you connect to either one, it'll be a different message every time you connect. So, again, same thing will happen over here, could happen over here. You've got your tablet over here, it connects and it says connected, but it will tell you which one it's connected to. So if you're connected to Sparky in the kitchen, you're gonna you know you're gonna have a slow and weak connection, but at least you'll know which one you're connected to. Or it will connect you to Sparky 3 and it will say, hey, connected to Sparky 3, and you'll know which one you're connected to again. So hopefully that makes sense, and that's why I don't recommend in this scenario to have the same SSIDs. In the other scenario, it's not a problem at all because it's just automatic. It just happens, right? So this is why I recommend separate SSIDs when the zones overlap, right? And generally, I like separate SSIDs for the one reason that I can always tell by looking at my connection manager which one I'm connected to regardless, and it gives me the option to choose if they're both showing up at the same time. I like options. So I'll wrap this up here in a minute. That's it for my video on SSIDs. If you like this video and it helped you out in some way, do me a huge favor. Click on the like button on the bottom right hand corner and give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel, it helps my video, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you have questions or comments, definitely put them in the comment section below this video. I answer them all the time. On the corner of the screen, you'll see a picture of me. That is a subscription link. If you click on that subscription link, you'll be subscribed to my channel. And as part of that process, you'll see a bell icon. If you click on the bell icon, you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and then you can watch it at your own leisure. Once again, and like always, I want to thank you for your time and for watching.